Casey.
Hi, Em.
So you are not in a car, you're in a house. So we were able to get some time with you from your trip, which I'm super excited that you'll talk to us
Yeah.
about. But before we go there, why don't we start with just telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you live, all that fun stuff.
I don't know that I can give a definite answer anymore to that because I don't know. uh, this trip that you mentioned has been a break from everything that I once was. And I'm in the midst of recreating, redefining, and rediscovering who I really am. So, what do? I do me. I'm being me, living to my fullest as best as I can in every single day, discovering the parameters of what define me in society, what I do. I want to expand into photography. I have found a passion for that, and I feel like my soul shines brightest when I'm working with an individual to bring out their truest essence. So uh, I am a photographer now.
I love
That's
it.
what I.
That's
Where
the
do I
best answer to what do I do? That's my
Oh,
favorite
thank
answer.
you. Yeah. So, and where do I live? I have a home in Ontario, Canada, just outside of Toronto. But right now, my home is technically my car. I'm on an adventure to discover the greater world around me, specifically North America right now, because I do want the comfort of my car. But I'm expanding into who knows what. I'm discovering, and I'm stepping into the unknown, as Dr. Joe says. I have no specific plan. I'm living moment to moment, and I am moving through my journey in each of those moments. And it feels really exciting and really scary, and then really exciting, and the whole back and forth of wonderful feelings. And I find joy in the unknown. So that's what I'm doing and where I'm living.
I love it. I love it. So maybe talk a little bit briefly on, what brought you to this moment right here? Have you always been a spiritual person, would you say? Do you have a background in spirituality or religion, or, what brought you to this moment? How did you find the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza? How has that changed your life?
Okay. Um, I'm just going to start with how I came to Dr. Joe first, and then I'll backtrack to a couple of other questions. So it's about 4 years ago now that I was at a television show taping for Colette Baron-Reid. And after I had received a reading, I was introduced to a woman who had worked with her. Her name is Diane Solano, and she's an incredible person who wanted to work with me and do the work through using, oh gosh, breaking the habit of being yourself. I'm sorry, I had so many things in my head. So she introduced me to that. And I was very excited, but I wasn't yet ready to do the work. However, I remember her as a catalyst for bringing so many other healing tools into my life. So in the past 4 years, I have progressed through this healing journey and implemented the use of Dr. Joe's work because I identified some things in my past and my history that I knew his work would help me tap into and really understand better. So my history basically is a history of mental health issues. And I believe it's partly genetic and partly environmental. I've identified the patterns and I've identified the environments that have created it. And ultimately, I created it. I found a discovery. And that is my depression has been my choice. I know it sounds really judgmental to say that, but I've discovered that as Dr. Joe teaches, where I place my attention is where my energy goes. And if I'm putting my attention on sorrow or I'm putting my attention on feeling rejected, I am supporting that. I'm choosing to stay vibrating in that depressed state. And so doing his work has allowed me to understand that I am the way out of that. I have the choice to live it, to be it, or to change it. And I recently experienced, even though I had gone to the Tampa event, because of my environment, when I came back from Tampa, I had fallen back into an old depressive state. And it was quite painful this time because it was only me who was responsible for the entire thing. So come January of this year, I realized that I needed to make a choice. And the choice was to choose myself, because nothing magical was going to show up for me. Bottom line, I have to do my work. I had learned a lot. I had seen a lot. I had been doing my homework, but I had slipped and I had let it go by the way. And so I really found the desire to commit to doing my work, to not staying in that state, to finding a new way for myself in every day. I didn't follow the same path that other people followed, and I was very empathetic. And so I think those were some of the things that led me to being very susceptible to the depression in the early years, which I didn't recognize as depression until my mid-30s. And even then, identifying when it was coming up and why it was coming up didn't really happen until about 4 years ago, where I was really brutally honest with myself. And that's really where I feel positive about being able to take that honesty with love and look at myself and say, okay, this is where you need to do your work, and not feel ashamed about it, because shame can be such a hindrance. So yeah, it was very empowering to feel that way, and to use Dr. Joe's work to center myself, to tap into the feeling of love as opposed to the feeling of sadness or fear or rejection. So I found his work extremely powerful. Everything he's taught us is just so on point with how we control our destiny and who we are in charge of our energy, and how our energy affects our life and others around us. So it's been very empowering.
Wow. And that's why I knew we were supposed to meet. Because
Yes.
as I have tears coming down my eyes, it's so inspiring to me to see other people as brave as you to make that decision to go, no, I and I alone am responsible. I have choices. I applaud you so much. And it's so brave to do that, to go within.
But isn't it interesting to share with people, because your journey is similar with just different topic?
Absolutely.
Because it was choice, right?
Absolutely.
It's amazing how parallel all of our journeys are. And if we as each individual human being can look at the aspect of what in this illness, disease, discomfort am I choosing, and what am I supporting by choosing that? And that's where society keeps us blind, where we can look at our subconscious beliefs and subconscious issues that are contributing to everything we're choosing. And it's just so powerful. So I love sharing the possibilities that we can choose just by examining what's in front of us, and what, not by living in the past, but sometimes looking at the past and saying, what is the track record? What is the history? What can I change?
I love it. And not being a victim to circumstance, and going, no, I have a choice in it. I'm not a victim. I create my reality. So what is it, like you said, what is it in me that this is affecting?
I'd love to share one quick instance.
Yes.
I was very empowered despite the situation. So as a teenager, I was sexually assaulted, and I did everything before the event happened to protect myself. I told people, don't let this person around me. Don't let this person into this room where I'm at. Just keep them away from me. And everything happened that made the event happen. So I knew afterwards. I went to court. I reported it. I went to court. I went through the whole process. And even though it was thrown out, I know that I did everything in my power to protect myself. I know that I wasn't responsible for what happened, and I know I did all that I could following through. So despite that event happening to me, I was grateful that I knew I did not have to allow that victimization to come with me through my life. It was one situation where I chose empowerment no matter what happened. Even though I didn't get the proper justice, I still did everything I could, and that is justice in my way, in my heart, that I did what I could by choice. And so I think if people look at a situation like that, even how difficult it is, to recognize that there is choice in every single situation, and that we empower ourselves through choice.
Absolutely. I love that example. And like you said, to not allow the victimization to follow you the rest of your life, to not allow one instance to control you in everything that happens. It's
right. And in relation to Dr. Joe's work, I have a childhood event where it was the same situation when I was a little girl. A little boy wanted to be around me, and I did everything in my power as a child, not knowing what I was doing, to keep that person away from me. There was still an event where I was attacked as a child, it was innocent. And I reacted, and I was the one shamed for protecting myself. So like Dr. Joe says, it's our energy that is communicating, and that energy I received from the people around me when I was a child helped to recreate the incident later in my life.
Absolutely.
And the fact that if we look at some of these instances and really look at what they are without victimization, without shame, and identify it, is so powerful in our healing.
So powerful. That is
Yeah.
that is a huge step. That is such a big step. That again is so brave, because it's hard for a lot of people to get there. So, but
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's like you said, it's empowerment to go, you know, what do these situations keep telling me? Why do they keep recreating? I heard a quote once on a YouTube video I watched, and I think about it quite often. And he said, the same kind of situation, although it may be presented in a different way, will continue to happen in your life until it does not get an emotional reaction from you anymore. Once you have let it go, it cannot affect you. It will never happen again. Others may come up because, you know, years and years and years of building programs. But I think about that often, in that emotional reaction time, and letting it affect you every time, and learning.
Exactly. And I felt bad in some situations where I've had a friend who says, why does this keep happening to me? I haven't done anything. And I'm saying, you're drawing it to you. It's painful. I'm sorry that I'm saying this and you don't understand, but you have to shift your energy to move this away from you. And, you know, so victimization continues happening when we live in a state of victimization. I mean, Dr. Joe teaches all of this.
Yeah.
Maybe different words, but he's basically telling us, we support it. We're going to keep getting it. And it's really, truly understanding what attraction really is.
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, I love it, Casey. I love it. So tell us a little bit about the adventure. I know you spoke of it. So you left how long ago?
Okay, so my adventure, part of the depression is finding a comfort zone and sticking with that comfort zone. And I felt by keeping things the same at this point in my life, with all of the changes that I'm trying to implement, by keeping things the same, I was keeping myself in the old stuck energy. So I left on September 17th from the Toronto area, and I drove for a week across Canada all by myself in my little old car. I decided to try camping. I'm not a camper. And it went pretty good, except for it was kind of chilly, and I learned some lessons. And then I had also reached out to some Dr. Joe people on the advanced attendees group. And I have met some incredible people so far. And I'm looking forward to meeting some more people as I expand into the Kelowna area or into Vancouver. So I met in Regina, I met the beautiful Mary Merle, and we had a wonderful evening. Her and her husband were such incredible hosts. I just felt like I was at home again. I felt so loved and so welcomed. It was just amazing. And they were so gracious, and we talked for hours and we shared, and it was just so inspiring. And then from Regina, I headed to Calgary, and I stayed with Gwen and Barry, and they are such incredible people. I love, love, love their healing stories and how they have come back from their own adversity in different ways. And to see them interact is watching love in motion.
Oh, I love that.
Inspiring. Because Barry shares how he had gone to such a negative place and how Dr. Joe's work has brought him back to love. And Gwen, watching her radiate is just, she's so beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Hosts, yes. And then I enjoyed a meeting the following night with some more Dr. Joe people. So it was beautiful to reconnect with others who were also doing the work and just feel so inspired. And all the sharing is so incredible because it's expanding.
Yeah.
And it just felt so good. So from Calgary, then I carried on to the Okanagan area in British Columbia. And that's where I am right now, just regrouping and settling in and visiting some family.
Oh, good. So so you don't know how long you're completely in the unknown, and I love it. So tell us what sparked that finally in you to go, you know what, I'm going on a road trip. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how long it's going to be. What sparked that in you?
Well, I think what sparked it in me is that I've always had a desire to travel. And throughout my life, I have done a lot of traveling, but it was under somebody else's parameters, a spouse or a partner or somebody else who knew better. And that's part of my history, is somebody else always knows better. And so this decision was, yeah, exactly, right? this decision was made, to catapult me out of the familiar, from my home and my space and my peeps, and to expand my ability to meet new people and to just throw caution to the wind and discover who I am and where I'm going. So, as I said, I have no set plans. I'm really just meandering. Some people might say I left ill prepared, because lack is another part of my story. And so waiting for me to save or to change that, in my old situation, wasn't going to work. So I really pretty much jumped in the deep end, and now I'm just learning to swim, metaphorically. So yeah, I'm
I
just
love that.
going for it. And I need to get to the coast, because when as a child, I was raised there. So it's back to familiar ground for me, but then I want to explore more. And I really don't know where the future is taking me. I'm hoping it's going to take me to incredible meetups with some incredible Dr. Joe attendees, and to meet you guys in Seattle. So looking forward to that, and seeing where my next stage of my adventure goes. It's magical. There's also the aspect of fear will always creep up. So, and part of my history is that, is mental illness ever really gone? It's hard to say. It's really, is it a struggle? I can't say it's a struggle. A lot of people use that word maybe too much. I feel like every day it's a challenge for me to show up for myself, a challenge for me to reframe my mind and continue committing to the work. So I think in doing this adventure, it's just a challenge for me to get out of my past, get out of the unknown, or out of the known, and fall in love with the unknown, as Dr. Joe says, right? I don't want to be more in love with my past than I am with my future anymore. I feel I'm done with that. And now it's just creating new patterns, creating new habits, and creating a way of living in the unknown with love and joy and excitement.
And I think too, like we said when we spoke earlier, that awareness of when those challenges come up, of being able to be aware enough to go, okay, what is this? Is this a program in me that's just trying to take over? What do I need to do to stay present? What do I need to do in me to fix this challenge that's happening outside of me? And that's the work, right?
Exactly. Well, Dr. Joe teaches us to be in the here and now, right? Because how can we be open to the unknown if I'm stuck ruminating about something that happened yesterday? But there's also a technique that a lovely woman who does a program called SIO, her name is Sandra, she teaches observe and allow. So in every aspect, so in some ways it's observe what you're feeling, allow it to move through your body instead of suppressing it. Observe what I'm thinking and how I'm reacting based on how I'm thinking. Observe how I'm behaving and see if that behavior is beneficial to me and those around me. So observing and allowing has become a huge part of my work, as well as, I always say this, the 4 agreements, to remind myself of so many things outside of my control, to be with me as opposed to making an assumption or taking something personally. And that always circles back to Dr. Joe's work, which is amazing how other people's work is, supporting his, and his is supporting others. And so being open to this multitude of tools that are out there, and that it doesn't have to be hard. It can be fun. It can be joyous. Every time I think of Dr. Joe's phrase, where you place your attention, your energy goes. And it's like, oh my goodness, what am I doing?
I do the same thing. I know that I've heard it a million times, but duh, right?
Yes. So I laugh now when I'm thinking, and constantly reminding myself, just because I've heard it doesn't mean I don't need to hear it again today or tomorrow. And every time I share it with somebody else, I do this. Can you see it? I'm pointing at somebody saying, you need to do that. But there's 6 more pointing back at me, reminding me about doing my work. So I fully accept that.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
So, Casey, what would you give somebody who has maybe been struggling with depression their whole life, who maybe, has every reason to say that they are a victim of circumstances of things that happened to them, and that, that their life is a reflection of that? What's one thing you would say to that person that they can take and apply to their life?
I think the biggest thing I would say is to choose something different. If fear or pain or victimization is driving that negative feeling, to choose to find a different understanding of it so that you can find a way out. Um, there's no magic pill. There's no magic person. There's no, magic or perfect situation. It's about choosing yourself, choosing life. I said to somebody before I embarked on this journey, and while I've been on this journey, in some respects, it was do or die for me. I felt that I was, wrestling with the choice of not being on this earth, but I couldn't choose that without fully choosing to live first. And so it's ultimately choosing yourself. We were put here for a reason, whether it's, who knows what that reason is. It's really up to individuals, but to choose to live, choose to find love, choose to find joy, choose to find healing, and choose to commit to oneself. Because if you don't choose yourself and you don't choose to do one little thing every day to help you climb out of that hole, there's no magic ladder. So even if it's going for a 10-minute walk, even if it's reading one page out of one of the books that you need, or having a conversation with somebody, it's choosing that.
Absolutely. 100%.
Because everybody's worth it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so would you say that you are happy at this moment in your life right now?
I am happy. I'm happy that I'm choosing me. I'm choosing to live. I'm choosing to be here for whoever needs to come across my path. And I'm choosing to be present to receive whoever needs to come across my path. So that what I call the infinite circle, or the infinity symbol, is I'm you, you are me, I'm here for you, you are here for me. It's never ending. And I'm here to be present with that. And yes, I'm happy doing that. It's not always easy, but I tell you, I'm going to take that not easy into incredibly fantastic.
So, as I say in all my interviews now, my motto is love over fear. I try to live that every day. I try to be present with that. I try to be conscious of that. I try to be aware when it's fear that's sneaking in. So when you hear love over fear, what does that mean to you in your own life?
Oh, expansion or contraction. And it's choice. So I want to choose to expand and really enjoy the feeling of love in every moment. People think love is just between a man and a woman, and that is not the case. I remember a situation during one of my healing experiences where I call it a waterfall of love. I had 4 hours worth of love showered on me just from the energetic universe. And so I remind myself that love shows up in every single way, and it shows up in every single day. I look for all the signs and the messages in the weather, in the critters around me. I'm choosing to find love and not support fear. I'm not saying fear doesn't happen, but if I choose love over fear, then it's going to help love to shine even more in every day.
So much good stuff. I just want to keep going and going. But I will let you go. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to listen to this, and it's going to change their lives, because
yes,
we need more people that are just brave like you, that like you said, make the choice to go, no, I choose my life, I choose my path, and it's an everyday choice. It's like we said before, you don't reach some point of healing and then you're healed and you never have to work through things again. It's an evolution.
Exactly.
Why we're here, right?
Exactly. And so I just want to say thank you to all the people who've shown up in my life to help me in my healing journey, whether it was a word or a hug or a conversation or continued phone calls or anything that has helped me on my journey. If I just keep my head above water, they show up. And in turn, it allows me to show up because I'm sharing their messages. I'm sharing Dr. Joe's experiences of his teachings because I'm still here. And that, that is just going to build the love and build the positive and build the healing vibrations if we keep partnering that way. So staying in the love, keeping to show up, and continuously being open to the people who are going to affect me. Absolutely. Is how I'm showing up in the world. Yeah. And so I'm just so grateful to be able to communicate with you and
me too.
Share and just be in alignment with the positive unknown future. It's incredible.
It is. It is. I applaud you so much. You are
Mm.
so, so brave. And again, thank you so much for sharing with us.
And I can say ditto, sister. Thank you for showing up.
Yeah. So we will we'll see each other in a couple weeks. So maybe we'll do
Exactly.
a Facebook Live or something.
That would be great.
Okay.
Because
All
until
right.
next time.
Good travels, safe
Thank you.
travels. Enjoy, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. Mwah.
Mwah.